All right. Well, Trump is potentially leaving the door open for Republican outsiders like Elon Musk and RFK Jr. to find spots in his administration. The Senate will have to confirm some of Trump's nominees. Do Washington outsiders belong in the White House?
I think that Elon Musk coming in and trying to use AI to make government more efficient, uh, in which we're spending billions of dollars and sometimes just not having anything to show for it. Uh, for example, most government workers in Washington, D.C. still don't show up for work. They're working remotely. But we pay them extra for living in Washington, D.C., but there's like no proof they're living in Washington, D.C. I think having somebody come in and say, wait a second, we can do this faster, we can do it cheaper, we can do it better. I think someone like Musk could have a positive influence in that regard.
I mean, I remember in 2016, one of Trump's biggest talking points was that he was an outsider, right? Now he's an insider, somewhat. Many still consider him an outsider, but he knows his way around Washington, knows his way around the White House, and he's going to do what he wants, as we've seen him do. He's reportedly weighing a healthcare position for RFK Jr. in his cabinet, despite some of his controversial past comments about vaccines and other issues. You yourself, my producers are telling me you're a physician. I didn't realize that. Do you think this is a dangerous idea to have him part of the administration?
So when RFK speaks about processed food and its contribution to obesity, he gets bipartisan hurrahs. So I think that if you want someone to focus on that and to take it on and to champion that, again, I think that there will be bipartisan support. Obesity is negatively affecting the health of a tremendous number of Americans. And I've been told that the number of calories we eat is not that much more than it used to be. It's just that processed food calories are absorbed that much more quickly. Let's have that issue amplified. That would be a great service to the public conversation.
Yeah, and look, that's a great point. You know, as a parent, I've got kids in schools, and I see some of the things that, that they take home as far as food goes. So I can appreciate, without a doubt, taking big food to task, perhaps, and trying to change the American diet, which is a massive cause of his. But what I'm also asking about is his controversial views about vaccinations. How do you feel about that?
We'll see if he's nominated. You're asking me to speak about a theoretical, and so we'll just have to see how that occurs. Vaccinations have saved a heck of a lot of lives. I'm old enough to remember when children couldn't go to school for quite some time because of measles, and the older doctors told me that when the measles vaccine came out, they just closed whole hospital wards because no longer were people going blind or going deaf because of mumps or measles. And so, and polio, I used to drive a man to work at LSU who had polio and he was paralyzed and needed someone to help him full time. I drove him to work, took him into class, and took him home, but he had others to help him the rest of the time. So I don't think RFK's saying don't give people polio vaccines, but we just need to have a fuller discussion on that.
Okay. Well, let's move on to this. Nikki Haley and Mike Pompeo both served in Trump's previous administration, but the president-elect has ruled out working with them for a second term. Does anyone who criticized him have a chance on being part of his team?
Well, J.D. Vance, I think his line is that he knows that Trump has a great memory because he's always reminded him of the terrible things J.D. said. So the simple answer appears to be yes. And I don't know if Pompeo is saying anything negative about the former president or now the soon-to-be president.
Yeah.
So the kind of premise of the question, I'm not sure I accept. And I don't know his reasons for not accepting either one of them, but there's other good people out there who would want, say, a position like Secretary of State.
You know, maybe what I should have said, is it just more of a signal that he wants a fresh start? Is that fair?
Yeah, that might be. That might be, although he's talked about Bob Lighthizer being his trade representative. I thought Lighthizer did a really good job last time. Lighthizer has written in his book, No Trade is Free, advocating for why don't we tax China for the pollution it's putting into the atmosphere. We spend hundreds of billions to control it. They don't. That lowers their cost of manufacturing. They ship their goods here and we lose the jobs. I actually have a proposal for that. And so if Lighthizer, he's in the past administration, he may be in the future administration. And if so, I've got a bill just lined up for us to work together on.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.